Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. And for all of those who are new to the channel, I'm glad to have you a part of this ecosystem. I mean, we're all stuck in this blue trap bubble anyways. While I was debating what to talk about next, I realized I never talked about the best anime to watch. And by best, I don't mean it's the needle in the haystack because of its stats specifically. Instead, I'm talking about the best anime that you can watch before you kill over. I'm just talking about if it's a complete story, whether you like the genre or not. Now, of course, some anime you may specifically like probably won't show up here if it is lacking something. Say, for example, it has completely comical animation, or maybe the plot is just so trash I couldn't simply think about it. And of course, there may be some exclusions of some anime that you maybe love, but I didn't put it here. But if there is an alternate anime that fits the bill, I'll put it at the end of that specific section. Anyway, we're wasting too much time. Let me give you my list of the top 10 anime you should watch before you die. What a crazy way to say it. Number 10 on this list is going to be Demon Slayer. Now, before you guys start hating on this list before we even get started, let me say that nothing is ordered. And plus, there's multiple reasons you can say that an anime is good. I'll be the first to admit that Demon Slayer does not have the most intriguing plot. I mean, it's simply about a boy whose sister becomes a demon and he simply wants to turn her back. And I mean, that's simply it, nothing else to it. The reason Demon Slayer is going to be on this list is more than just the stupid numbies it does. In my opinion, Demon Slayer has the best animation amongst the whole anime catalog. And that's mainly because the studio that makes Demon Slayer ufotable only really does Demon Slayer. While there is going to be competition from another studio which will be on this list, it's simply not at the same standard. To me, every single episode we get of Demon Slayer is movie quality at best. And plus, Demon Slayer is very family friendly. I mean, the amount of jokes they're going to give you episode to episode is really going to sell to the younger audience as well as families. But for you hardcore anime watchers, you're really just here for the animation. I can't sell you on anything else. But because this is an anime list and well, it animates very well, Demon Slayer has to have a spot. So number 10 is going to be Demon Slayer. Do not whine. Also, if I had to give an alternate for Demon Slayer, I would probably give it to Bleach. Bleach to me is one of my personal favorite animes, however, it simply doesn't make this list. If a sword fighting anime with some comedy is what you want, these two are really interchangeable. However, Bleach's animation is not as crisp as Demon Slayer, plus it's a lot more episodes. But if you're looking for a sword fighting show, go give these two a try. Next on the list for all my sad anime watchers, we have Your Lie in April. Now, to be completely fair, there's a lot of animes that can fit this bill, but I specifically picked Your Lie in April because it's kind of vague where this category lies. Sometimes you're watching the main character deal with his own personal trauma and try to get back into music. Other times you wonder if this is a romance show and can't tell if they like one another. But overall, you're going to be left with sadness when you see what happens. Your Lie in April is a very short anime, but you're going to enjoy the ride. And for a show that you're supposed to really be in the feels, you really gotta like the characters. And I say nobody on this cast is unlikable, so you'll be okay, especially because they only follow about 4 people. I mean, there are other kids that are into music, but you don't care about them, I don't either. And without spoiling anything, this show does a great job trying to give the viewer hope. Again, the sad, depressing shows aren't for everybody, but you'll for sure find some enjoyment from this series. And if I had to give an alternate for this series, I would easily go with Clannad. And for most people, this would easily trump or have the winning spot for number 9. Clannad can be more depressing than you may realize. And if you can really stomach the tears, I suggest you try this one out instead. But for this list, the number 9 spot is going to Your Lie in April. Now listen, just to reiterate, this is not ordered. However, for the number 8 spot, I have Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. For most people, this is arguably the best anime you'll ever see. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is a continuation of the first part of the series. And for the first part of Fullmetal Alchemist, you really don't have to see what happens because they do a great job recapping. Brotherhood is the fan favorite big brother of the 2 series. And when it comes to Brotherhood, you're going to get a lot of the factors that you want to see, but it's going to be amplified. I'm talking about Brotherhood having one of the best stories in anime you're going to want to see, characters within the series that are ridiculously likable and some that are hated as well. And for a series that came out in 2008, the animation is still holding up pretty well. Fullmetal Alchemist also takes more of a realistic view where characters don't get random powers out of nowhere. Instead, most characters have to sacrifice something that they have in their possession to get the power that they want. Hint as to why one of the main characters is literally a walking tin can. When it comes to other shonen anime, especially on this list, FMA is really a fan favorite. I don't see a single thing that this show really misses besides not being long enough. And even then it has a whopping 64 episodes, so I can't complain. I also can't give you an alternative for FMA. And it's not that I don't want to, however, you won't find another anime that does it like this, just how you like it. So number 8 on this list goes to Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Now then, we still have 7 more to go through. And I think we hit a pretty healthy point of the video at which I can ask you guys, if you like what you see, can you please subscribe? I mean, hey, I like anime and I assume because you're watching you like it too. It helps me out tremendously and I greatly appreciate it. Now then, let's go to number 7 on this list, Madoka Magica. I'll be the first one to say that the Magical Girl series is not for everybody. But I also have to mention there are different types of Magical Girl series that may tickle your sweet spot. Before I jump into your alternatives, the Madoka Magica is your bittersweet anime. It's pretty simple. Girls that are willing to get powers consider themselves magical girls to get whatever they desire. Sometimes their desires are completely foolish and you'll be shocked with what they want. And other times their wish is very reasonable, but you're just kind of here for the ride. Madoka Magica doesn't have too much main content for you. Right now it only has a dozen or so episodes with one canon movie. Plus in the near future we're going to get another canon movie for the series. There's also a spin-off for the series which I don't know if I can recommend to you, but overall I think you'll enjoy Madoka Magica as well as the extra twist you'll get within the series. Jumping back to the alternatives, I'm going to give it to Sailor Moon and Yuki Yuna as a hero. I'd say if you're looking for the most heroic Magical Girl series, it's going to be Sailor Moon. And if you're looking for a little bit more of a twist compared to Madoka Magica, Yuki Yuna is your best bet. Both of these series are great fill-ins if you're looking for another Magical Girl series. But for now, the number 7 spot goes to Madoka Magica. I'm not the only one in the world that would say this, but One Piece is not my favorite anime. Even so, there's no way I cannot give One Piece a spot. Yes, it's true that One Piece is another shonen anime and we've already had 2 on this list. However, when it comes to an adventure series, nothing does it bigger than One Piece. I can tell you right now that the 1,000+ episodes One Piece has is not just for show. Yes, it is true it would take you a very long time to get through One Piece, especially if you start from the beginning. However, as I say that, when you go arc from arc with One Piece, you're not really gonna be disappointed. Matter of fact, I don't think there's an arc within the 1,000 episodes of One Piece that's not at least okay. A lot of the times, you're never gonna feel that dire need that any character can die at any moment. It's pretty obvious that if you are a Straw Hat, you might as well be invincible. This includes the characters that don't need to fight majority of the time. But as I mentioned before, this is an adventure anime and you're more excited to see what's gonna happen next. So will Luffy ever figure out what the One Piece actually is? I do not know. So for those of you who love an adventure, especially the big bad villains that show up with crazy powers, this one's it for you. The alternative that's a little bit different but still a part of the big 3 is Naruto. Naruto might have some of the most iconic things such as the hand signs and running with your hands behind your back. While One Piece is about characters that are pirates and then Naruto's about ninjas, it's really different. But Naruto's also a large sample size of similar adventuring. When it comes to Naruto, you'll get a good grasp of everything else outside of the Hidden Leaf. And plus, if you are a doomer looking for death in any of your series, you're going to find that more in Naruto compared to One Piece. But anyway, whether it's One Piece or Naruto, I think you'll enjoy both of these series. Alrighty, we're halfway there, so let's keep it rolling. The number 5 spot goes to Death Note. You're not always going to find a show that is completely hands-off. Death Note is a show specifically tailored to not fight with your fist, but instead your brain. One fateful day, the main character happens to find a book at which if you write a name down, you can kill anyone you want. I know so many people wanted this in high school, however, like Yakumi's the one that gets it, and he's in high school. Death Note is a big game of cat and mouse, figure out who the person is killing everyone, or figure out the person who's trying to stop you from killing everyone. The idea of what's happening within the show isn't too hard to understand. What you're really here to see is who is going to win the back and forth. And I would say the fandom of whose side you're on is pretty split. Some people love Light Yagami even though he is obviously the villain, probably because he's a strapping young man, I don't know. And then some people absolutely love L, who is the quote-unquote loser, but still loves to do what he does. Death Note also has more episodes than your average anime, so you're gonna get a little bit more time enjoying this series. And I also want to say that this is a pretty rare thing to have, this strategic back and forth north in anime. It happens in other animes, but they don't do it quite like Death Note. If I had to give an alternative, I would most likely give it to Steins Gate. However, this show doesn't have two strong protagonists going brain for brain. But anyway, the number 5 spot is going to Death Note. Number 4 on this list is going to a rom-com, Love is War. This is another genre that romance and comedy is not for everybody. But have you seen Love is War? Yes, you can find other romance series that kind of does it better depending on what you like, but when it comes specifically to a romance comedy, I don't think there's a series doing it better. This series is simply about two teenagers that low-key like each other, however they don't want to say it. And it's not because they're shy, instead they'd rather not admit their feelings because it's almost as if they lost. It's a huge game of you do it before me, and the other forces around them are just comical jokes to try to make them do it. I will say that this show really relies on its comedy more than romance for sure, but at some point you're going to get the romance portion that you really want to see if that's what you want. Love is War is not only doing the best within the genre, but it also has a full movie you can enjoy. And I don't want to give an alternate for this series just because you can find a romance and comedy everywhere you go. I just personally believe that if you are looking for a rom-com, this is the best one in the market. And plus, if that's not enough for you, they have a chica dance. And listen, if you're not a fan of the chica dance, then I don't know, that's your fault. But anyway, the number 4 spot on this list is going to the rom-com Love is War. We're finally rolling into the top 3, so number 3 is going to be Your Name. The first, and well, the only movie I really have on this list, but Your Name goes crazy. For the 2 hours that you have to watch Your Name, this is a romance if I've ever seen one. Two protagonists that switch bodies once they fall asleep, and they're also in different eras. This show is an unconventional type of romance because these characters will never really see one another. Well, at least to a degree. Your Name does a great job focusing on a woman living a certain lifestyle compared to a man that is the same age but also lives a different lifestyle. And of course, when both of them switch bodies, you can see how they help one another in certain situations as well as harm too. Now, as for the trauma you're going to see within Your Name, I would rather keep that a secret because it's a movie. In other words, I only spoiled you for like 10 minutes, so chill out. Your Name is one of my favorite anime movies, and I really think it's worth your watch. Matter of fact, if you're really with the ish, you'll watch it multiple times like I did. Also, I can't give another story that's very similar. However, if you're looking for another movie that's very beautiful like this, I suggest you try out Weathering with You. That one may pique your interest as well. Alright guys, listen, you saw the thumbnail, you know this was going to happen. The number 2 spot is Attack on Titan. Listen, I've made plenty of videos about this series, and even though this is not ordered, I would personally put this as number 1. Attack on Titan is the story of all stories, and it's for sure a show if you watch it, you need to see all 4 seasons of the show. Attack on Titan is simply about a world in which people live within the walls, and well, outside of the walls are man-eating monsters that will kill you if they so happen to feel like it. And well, when it comes to the plot, it's kind of a adventure story to figure out what's outside the walls and as to why. But listen, I promise you the story gets better if you watch it instead of me telling you to watch it. If you're looking for a plot/story specific show, this is for you. And plus, the story of Attack on Titan is completely done now. So if you decide to indulge yourself inside Peak, then well, you're gonna have the complete story at your hands. I should also mention, if you do watch Attack on Titan, you have to be very open to what you see. Believe me or not, this story does have an underlying purpose to it. And if you don't understand that underlying phrase, then you're probably not gonna enjoy it as much. Anyway, you can check out any other video I have about the series, you'll enjoy it. No other show does it like Attack on Titan, so number 2 on the spot goes to Attack on Titan. Now listen, I know I originally said I'm gonna give you the top 10, but then I found another anime that just kind of fits the bill and I didn't have a spot for it. So as an honorable mention, I'm giving it to Kakegurui. Don't judge me. It's not too often that you'll see an anime specifically tailored to gambling. This Netflix series focuses on people throwing their whole lives away just to roll the dice. And when I say people throwing their lives away, I'm serious. There are people in this show called pets. When it comes to this anime, it's all about winning a bet that you're willing to place. Characters are even respected to go and cheat if they can win the bet. However, if you get caught, that's even worse. Kakegurui is pretty short with the main series as well as the twin series you can watch on Netflix, or however else you want to watch it. But the reason it was hard to give it a spot is because gambling is not for everyone and some people believe it's taboo. But since it's just a TV show, just get over it, sweet cakes. Kakegurui is actually worth your time and you'll enjoy the series just to see how they can cheat. Cheat on the game, not each other, which I guess that is the same thing, huh? So as an honorable mention, I would like to put Kakegurui here in this spot. But for the final spot, the final anime you should watch before you kill over is no other than Dragon Ball. Now listen, before you guys click off, hear me out. I'm being completely honest that Dragon Ball may be your favorite series or you may hate it. But for most people in the world, when you think of anime, it's Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is specifically made for males, a show made for fighting and just throwing them fists. And with so many iterations such as GT, Daima, or Z, you can watch whatever you want to watch. There technically is a chronological order they want you to watch, with some episodes being canon, but honestly, do you really care? For the most part, you really want to pick your favorite Saiyan and see him reach a new form. And from there, all you can do from that is hope that there's another villain to challenge your favorite Saiyan. Now, if I had to pick out the best iteration, it would obviously be Dragon Ball Z. I mean, this is the most iconic and talked about series that doesn't have the new factor to it. And plus, if you do start as Z/Kai, you can just kind of assume what happened in the original Dragon Ball series. I mean, you might be confused why the community calls this green bean black, but if you honestly care, then that's another issue you need to worry about. So finally, for the last spot on this list, it goes out to Dragon Ball. And well, with that, I hope you guys have a lot of recommendations to watch, especially during this holiday season. And just so you know, I did put this video out on Thanksgiving, so if you do celebrate, a happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. But if you're looking at what to watch next, I'm gonna give you another one of my anime videos over here. Thank you guys for watching. Y'all have a good one. Peace.